Isaac Heller, thank you so much for joining me from Jerusalem to Startup Nation United, calling and sharing our experiences as the Startup Nation is coming together, united efforts. Obviously, past 3 weeks, we're on October 29th now, so just about 3 weeks and a day after and 2 days after the terrible incidents of October 7th, which triggered the war as well. As the CEO of a startup, as part of the Startup Nation, I'm really thankful to have you here, both to provide me with some insights and inspiration as to the things you've experienced with your own employees and your own people, but also the way that you've experienced yourself, your own efforts, as well as some higher level ideas of what's happening. So again, thank you very much for being here, Isaac.
Yeah, good to see you, Michael.
Wonderful. Tell me a little bit, first of all, about yourself and about Trillion, and what do you do in the day-to-day outside the context of the war that we're in?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm CEO, co-founder of Trillion. Trillion is AI-powered accounting technology. We have, I would say, about 70 employees to date, more than 50 in Israel in our Tel Aviv office, and the rest in New York and the US. And you can imagine I have a few day jobs as CEO. But I would say that what's unique about me, especially during this time, is I made Aliyah. So I immigrated from America. I'm Texan to Israel, and I'm unique in the sense that I guess you could say I'm an Israeli American founder during this time.
Wonderful. Well, it's really great. It's really great to have you here. And obviously, the October 7th events caught all of us off guard. Tell me a little bit about where were you? What happened, for you that morning, and then I'd love to hear a little bit about it. What transpired with your organization and your employees in the days following the terrible incidents.
Yeah, definitely. So I live in Jerusalem. Our office is in Tel Aviv. I'm Sabbath observant. So on that Saturday, the tragic day, we were celebrating Simchat Torah and Shabbat, a very happy day for families and mainly for kids to celebrate and get candy. Unfortunately, before we could get to the local synagogue, the sirens started ringing. This was about 8:15 in the morning in Jerusalem and happened throughout the day. So we were back and forth in the stairwell, in the bomb shelter during that day. Because we don't turn on our phones on Sabbath, we did not know the extent of what happened. We obviously heard rumors. There were some people who immediately got called to the army through their microphones or other communication devices. But it wasn't until the Sabbath and holiday ended, close to 7, 8 p.m., that we turned on our phones and understood the extent of everything. So, it's sundown, it's nighttime, and the first thing you do is make sure your family is safe, right? I have a family, father of 3, my wife, make sure everything's okay, make sure that our family back home in America, in Texas, knows that we're safe. Your extended family in Israel, your family and friends, and then you immediately snap into your responsibilities as a CEO of a company, and you start to make sure that your employees, your brothers and sisters in your company are doing okay. And that's where it all starts.
Wow. And so the days following the incident, immediately your employees sprung into action. I know a few of them myself and a few of the amazing initiatives that they've done. In fact, some of them may be as part of this mini series on their own initiatives. And give me a little bit of an observation from you. What were some of these initiatives that your employees took place? How did you experience it as a CEO and as a larger part of the Startup Nation, seeing everybody sort of jump in and contribute here?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, it was overwhelming. Obviously, the first few days, everyone was in shock. And immediately people moved to action. So I can give you a few examples of things that inspired me. Again, everyone in our company doing amazing things. Ariel in our company, who's a local rabbi to families who are dealing with it, whose parents got drafted to the army, dealing with the kids, the wives, helping counsel them. Linda from our customer success team, who has a Spanish background, helping charter a flight from Madrid for medical supplies. Actually, President Herzog called her and the team to congratulate them. They were amazed at what was happening. Mikey in finance, seeking to raise $1 million for protective vests for the IDF. Not just that, but the unit that he served in, and also a trainer who's been helping our company is serving in right now. So we got to deliver it to our friends. Three people from Miluim were immediately called up from the engineering side. So thinking about them, Ganit in HR, her mother was rescuing animals in those first few days. Yuval, Shinbet, I could keep going on. I mean, these stories were extremely inspiring for the money, the medical supplies, and just the achdut, the responsibility and togetherness of everyone.
And how is an organization as a company? Obviously, you have to, um, you have customers to serve. You're a global company, customers abroad as well. How did you work it out as a CEO and as a leader, sort of this balance between, okay, there's a war going on. Our employees are also hyper engaged, which is phenomenal. That's part of the unity and the part of the story of the startup nation. How do you now, as a leader, balance that? And how did you personally experience that?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. I mean, first of all, you remind yourself that a startup is a family, and so a lot of things that happen are natural. They're the actions that would happen when you are together with a family. Um, I also think that it's easy. That's what I'll say. It's easy because it's human. It's very human to care about each other and think about each other. And you also realize as CEO, we forget why we do this, right? We forget why we're an engineer, an accountant, or a salesperson. But we do it for our family. We do it for our values. We do it to make a few shekels. We do it to have a little money for coffee, entertainment, our place, all those things. Like this is our life, right? And it starts with our family and our friends and our country. And you can't get to the work without first starting with the life. So all of this comes from people get their energy for Trulian and for work from their life and from their missions in life that go beyond work. And for me, it was very, very easy. All that happened was we were reminded of our core values and our mission and what we're really fighting for. And from there, we just started moving. Now, today it's 3 weeks in. We have investors. We have hundreds and hundreds of customers around the globe. We have had to make sure that there's business continuity. So then you get into the statistics. Okay, well, we have 5 people out of 50 on Miluim. That's 10%. That can be a productivity loss. Okay, we have people who are in Israel who can't respond to support tickets. Well, we have a New York team, so they're helping out. And you start rebalancing the company a little bit. You realize that the people in New York are so motivated to help the people in Israel, right? The engineers whose friends are in Miluim are so motivated to step in. And you assess the impact. And, fortunately, our investors invested in our company and invested in Israel because of our resilience and because of our growth. So they've been nothing but supportive. And that's it. We've grown a very, very strong muscle that didn't exist before.
I love it. How what you also had a pretty significant action within this for yourself. So not only do you have a family to manage and a company to manage, but you've also taken actions yourself to be part of this effort. What were some of the things that you personally did in response to the October 7th events?
Yeah, again, it just comes natural. I mean, I was involved with some friends who are organizing refugee placement from families in the south, Sderot, Netivot, Afakim, these kind of places. So I got involved in finding houses in Jerusalem and other areas where they could potentially stay, and that was one thing I did. Yeah, and we had some tough decisions. So a week after the massacre, I had a trip to New York, right, scheduled for work with interviews and partner meetings and stuff like that. And right when it broke out, I wasn't planning on going, but immediately I was told by my mentors and my investors and really my colleagues and my co-founder that as a non-soldier, we need to fight too, right? And so I went on that trip. I took my family, which was a difficult thing to get on a plane and then come back. But we opened our home to a refugee family from Netivot, and that meant a lot to me, just being able to help in some way. And now we're back in Israel, so it's all good, and we're still fighting.
Love it. And so looking a little bit higher, higher level, we're 3 weeks in now. It's October 29th. What is the experience now? So, how do you describe the current situation? How do you describe, the way that you're perceiving it, and what are the big building blocks that you see occurring, especially as it pertains to Startup Nation in the context of all of this?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I try to break it down. In Jewish religion, you have Shiva, which is the first 7 days, which were a period of deep, deep mourning for the massacre. You have Shloshim, which are the next 30 days, which is a period not of as much mourning, but of some level of mourning. And I think we're in that period. We're still very much mourning and thinking about everything that happened there. And so there's just some days it's hard to push through, but you have to, right? We're getting into the year of Shiva, and now we're fighting a war, which is a whole new layer. It's obviously connected, but it's a very, very heavy time. So we need to convert that sadness into what are we going to do for our country, for our hostages, really for humanity, right? It's not just Israel, it's America, it's Europe, it's other countries and people that are fighting for a certain type of value set. And Michael, like I get inspiration from my predecessors, right? I was just in New York last week speaking they asked to speak on a panel. Everyone wants to talk to Israeli entrepreneurs now. And the panel was called AI in Israel. And they said, what's going to happen now with the Israeli economy? What's going to happen with Israeli companies? And I said, look, in 2001, you had the second intifada, which I remember well. As an American, my Israel trip got canceled. There were bus bombings in Tel Aviv and Haifa and Jerusalem at a pizzeria, a Sparrow's pizzeria in Jerusalem. I said, that was 2001, right? We're at an AI conference. Some of the biggest companies in the world are Mobileye, AI for autonomous driving, Mellanox, AI for chips, right? These companies were founded in, 98, 99, 2000, right? These companies were a few years old when they were going through the second intifada and they were going through these experiences. And look at these companies right now, right? Look at how much they represent to the world, to Israel, to innovation, to all these areas. And so for me, like you talk about business continuity, I am so inspired just to see that, again, you can't go in and compare tragedies. That's not fair, right? This was a massacre of really, really traumatic proportion. But just to see that so many people before us have experienced adversity and come out stronger and promoted their values till the last, breath is what's making me realize that we need to keep going. We need to go strong.
100%. And I have no doubt that Israel will come out strong. And as we've been doing over the last 7 years, with every occurrence, we come out stronger than before. And obviously, as the startup nation and a nation that that's leading in a lot of verticals around the world, technology, but particularly also in AI and cyber, I think that we're obviously going to continue leading it. And what I've also been experiencing myself from the AI and cyber side, how we've been coming together as a nation, leveraging deep technology and leveraging really phenomenal technology to work on the hostage situation and different technological tools that before have never been used really in the context of war and battles. And it's been inspiring for me to see how companies around Israel have been coming together, providing not only their people but also technology to make a positive impact. And realize, thank you so much for joining me. Very difficult time for all of us, but we'll have better days and we'll all push forward. And thank you very much for the inspiration.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael. Keep it up.